Hi, I'm Eliyahu Kanush, the co-creator of Holy Simcha Events. When I say co-creator, my better half, my other half, my Ezer Kenegdo is Rivka Adina Kanush. And I am super privileged to be part of what people refer to us as a power couple. In this particular region of our lives as a power couple, in the Holy Simcha Events, it's not a co-creator in terms of like a two-way creative team, it's a three-way creative team. We have 6 children and we have Holy Simcha Events, which is kind of like a seventh child. And just as we know from our sages that it takes 3 to create a child, there's the mother, the father, and the Holy Blessed One. So too in Holy Simcha Events. A little history on it is that I was studying in yeshiva and my wife was learning at this place called Michlelet Emunah. She was learning theater. And we were in our 20s, both Balei Tshuva, both immigrants to Israel. We'd met at a Shabbos table, not far from here. We're in Efrat now. We met in Bat Ayin at a Shabbos table. It was clearly Hashem putting this shidduch together because she only came to that Shabbat table on the condition that there would be no bachrim there, no single guys there. And minutes before getting to that Shabbos table, I was just telling my chavruta that the woman who I thought I was going to marry, it just became completely clear that we weren't meant to marry. And he had just told me that, he said to me, he said, we've been learning Ben Ish Chai now for months, and you never told me that your Saba Rabba was a Ben Bait of the Ben Ish Chai. And I said, I didn't think it was so relevant. I'm just trying to, learn. I'm Shbal Tshuva. It was like, I don't want anybody to make presumptions about me. He said, you could get a great shidduch. Moments later, I met my partner, Rivka Adina, and we just spoke all night. She had glitter on her face and was dressed in all white. And all I really wanted is a partnership to keep Shabbat with somebody who wore all white. I didn't care if they were vegetarian, steak eater, soprano or alto. Those were all things that were important to me at one point. But here she was dressed in all white and had this funky glitter look on her face. And we spoke all night. And she said something interesting. She said, I knew she performed. And part of me was like, oh no, I'm done dating performers. I'm done performing and I'm done dating performers. That's something like of my past. And she's like, well, I only perform in front of women. And I thought that was tremendous amount of humility because I could tell she had a presence. And anybody who's met Rivka Adina knows she has this presence. But she actually said to me, as we'd walk around right here in Efrat, people would say, you don't know who you're marrying. She is so talented. And she would say, yeah, but you'll never hear that from me because I only perform in front of women and my voice doesn't come out unless I have a big audience. I had a little resentment about Kol Isha at that point. What happened from there was I was working as a massage therapist. I was working as a shomer so I could learn Torah at the same time. And I was searching the Efrat group chat for people who needed massage. Maybe they had a chayal in the army. And they were looking, hey, does anybody know a good massage therapist for my son? And somebody posted there and they said, we're making a bat mitzvah and we have no idea where to begin, what to start, what to do for the food, for the music, for the decor. Can somebody help us? And I said, Rivka Adina, you're teaching drama. I used to run summer camps for 200 kids at a time. I used to do drama. We both have Balei Tshuva. We both have backgrounds in dance and theater, and we're both musical. Let's make a game show. So the very first Holy Simcha's Events product was the Holy Simcha game show. And it was a hit. It was great. The next thing we knew is our neighbor said, you guys are crazy because you should do like a one-stop shop for all of the entertainment because you both know music, you both play music. She sings, I sing a little. I thought, I don't want to go back and be a musician. And this person said, no, you guys are DJs. And we said, So we got the equipment, we got the training, and that just like took off. And the game show actually became like a side thing, and the DJ thing took off. We saw what other DJs were doing in the industry. We saw what other musicians were doing in the industry, and we saw how the industry in Israel was suffering from a lack of quality. Things were good enough to not suck. And I met with some people in the industry who were, they were spreading joy. But the potential to bring in some American style DJing with dance floor activities, bring in some awesome props like a giant inflatable ball, or manufacture some 3-meter tall inflatable chassid doll, just a jump rope. These things were lacking. What was lacking was the American model of DJing, where you have a DJ, an MC, and a party pumper or dance motivator. So we started working with different people who had different budgets. Some needed me to be all three of those or her to be all three of those. And we started having more babies and more babies and more babies. And the next thing you know, we've done over 1,000 events for English speakers in Israel. People wanted to know, do you speak any Hebrew? Which, yes, we do. And when we run a game show, like a mini game show, we do it in Hebrew, but we don't speak so much. The value on the dance floor is the charisma to be breaking down the fimage. Fimage, fear of image. It's to let people be kids. It's to either me put on a Hawaiian necklace and say, hey, whoever's wearing the Hawaiian necklace is the leader. Remember Follow the Leader from preschool? I might hand that off to somebody else who looks like they're about to pop. Like you think of popcorn, it's about to pop, and find who's about to pop and who's the shy guy. He can stay aside, but we'll make a circle. We'll bring all of the culture of hip hop. We'll bring in break dancers if that's what they want. And we did that for about 10 years. And we saw improvements in the industry. In terms of like the volume isn't blasting when you have a Holy Simcha. Like other DJs, we would go to our friends' weddings, we would go to, and the volume was insanely loud. Not only did it not to need to be that loud, but there's like an Israeli culture of just blast the music way too loud in order to, I don't know, compensate for bad DJing or a lack of a party pumper. And then the next thing we did was we started to notice from the eyes of like a theater director, because both of us have both experience as being actors in theater and theater directors. Imagine that a simcha could be an optimal production. What needs to be optimized here? And we realized that there are a few things that need to be optimized. One is the vendors need to be coordinated, and there needs to be an MC making the call. I'll give you one example. And I'm sorry if this sounds like a commercial, but I'm just telling you what we did. We basically applied what's called NLP, okay? The way that NLP was created, if you've heard of neuro-linguistic program, I'm not going to talk about neuro-linguistic program at all, but the way it was created at the university where I went to, UC Santa Cruz, was they modeled 3 master therapists and they said, what are they doing right? They looked for a science of excellence. So applying that to the events world is we saw, okay, well, if you're going to set up the backdrop for your photography, the same place the DJ is going to be, then you're going to have a 20-minute transition. And if there's not somebody monitoring all that, then there's going to be all kinds of what we call in Hebrew fashlot. We've worked with some great party planners. What we realized is there's still a need for an MC to even oversee kind of the party planners, because there are little things that aren't caught. So what's happened lastly in the Holy Simcha Entertainment's events is that we've transitioned to becoming an event company. And that means that we work with select vendors and in select venues, because that way we can optimize the Simcha. Tagline, really get ready for it. I don't know if, I'm not trying to make a commercial here, but just so you know what our vision statement, it's Simchas that are fantastically fun, meaningful, and memorable. That's it. It's super simple. So I can tell you, like, honestly, like a lot of the things that I've seen that just shouldn't happen when there's no MC, master of ceremonies, really master of ceremonies, is people not knowing how to use a microphone. They would hold it like, take a microphone and wave it around like this while they're speaking. If an MC who has the authority to come and break that kind of fourth wall, which we call in theater a fourth wall, and go up to the person speaking and take their hand and say, hold it here. The simcha gets transformed because people can now hear the person. There are competent magnet photographers. There are people who I would not want to have at my simcha or my worst enemy simcha just because they're there to get paid. They might have a contract to put out 1,000 magnets, and they might say, how am I going to put out 1,000 magnets if I don't put them out at right now, because I still have to go print more, and I've seen magnet photographers put out this magnet easel while the bar mitzvah boy was giving his speech. I kid you not. The mentality, you're going shocking, right? Welcome to the Middle East. Okay, I turned the magnet board around and he came back and he turned it around again. I turned it around again and I stood there and guarded while the bar mitzvah boy is giving his speech, which I, as the DJ, shouldn't be doing. As the MC, I think as the MC, I could do that, but I play 3 or 4 parts for 10 years. I can't do that anymore. I need to come with teams, a DJ, an MC, a party pumper / dance motivator. The DJ can be the tech guy who's running the slideshow also, but it's good to have also like a tech guy who's just doing tech. And I guarded it. Meanwhile, I should be at the soundboard, like managing feedback, and I should also be the MC, giving the Bala Simcha. Hey everybody, thanks for coming to my Simcha. I want to thank my wife. Everybody's just hearing them up. Nobody. So I got to be in all these places. Holy Simchas needs to become an events group, right? So the people understand when you're making a successful Simcha, an optimal Simcha, a holy Simcha, you're going to be thinking in chunks of tens of thousands of shekels. So when people call me, I say, what's your budget and how many people are you thinking of having? Is your budget 10,000? Do you want a package for 10,000? 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. 100, you want me to bring you Gad Elbaz? You want me to bring you Nissim Black? Tell me where you are. So I'm there with the magnet guy and he's going, why are you turning around the easel? And I'm going, I don't know how to say this because the bar mitzvah boy is giving his speech. But I'm like pointing at the bar mitzvah boy giving his speech and he's just kind of scratching his head. I've had caterers who had a hot chocolate souffle. Delicious. There's nothing better than a hot chocolate souffle. Don't get me wrong. The temperature on food is, I would never want to work with food personally myself. Botulism, kashrut, mizrata briut, kashrut, kashrut. I would not want to work with those things. I have input because I can tell you that you should have a buffet. You should not have plated food. I'll tell you all the reasons for that in another video if you want. But listen to this. The head waitress comes to me and I'm DJing, right? Now, when I say I'm DJing, I mean I'm dealing with reading the crowd. I'm not just reading the dance floor. I'm reading everybody off the dance floor because my goal to make this not just a simcha, but a holy simcha, because I give a shtick, right, is to get everybody on the dance floor. And that's not possible. But as much of everybody as possible. So I'm thinking, what's the next song that's going to bring that person onto the dance floor? These people have been on here long enough. I've adjusted the beats per minute enough so that I've given them like a good workout and I can get the Saba on because I already played something really kitzby for the kids. And I'm right about to get the Saba on. The Saba looks like he's got a broken hip. He's been resting to dance with his grandson. He's ready to go. And I got the head waitress going, it's 9:30. And I'm going, go away. And she's going, the chocolate souffle is getting cold. I'm going, this grandpa is like 93 years old, okay? He's living moment by moment. Who knows how much medication he's on, pain medication. He wants to dance with his grandson. We've got the photographer poised because it's a Holy Simchas event. So I can say to my photographer, men's side. And he or she is going to go zook, or photographer, confetti in 5, 4. And the Holy Simcha photographer, not if I'm working with Joe Schmo photographer who's going, why'd you turn the easel around? No, I'm working with the Holy Simcha's vetted vendor. They're going to go zoop, ready for the confetti. They know what the shots are. They know what the angles are. But I've got the head waitress going, chocolate souffle is getting cold. So I can't work with that lady anymore. And she's just a tipus, okay? That's why we've gone from Holy Simcha's DJs. You see this shirt doesn't say Holy Simcha DJ. It's Holy Simcha's events. There are selected venues and selected vendors that are vetted and qualified to have an optimal event. So nobody's going to come up to me and say, the chocolate souffle is getting cold when the Saba is going to have his moment. And the bar mitzvah boy is going to look at the camera and they're going to have that moment that's going to make it fantastically fun, memorable, and meaningful. Okay? There's also not a chance that we're going to overpack the simcha. Okay? Like having, listen, honestly, I have sympathy for the souffle. God blessed souffle, because somebody put a lot of heart into that souffle and a lot of work into it. I've made chocolate souffle. It takes time and patience so it doesn't collapse. I understand. I've worked as a magnet photographer a very little bit. I understand. You said you've got a package of 1,000. I haven't worked in a lot of things, but we're going to make sure that the simcha isn't overpacked with distractions, because what can happen is you can have a simcha that's going to have attractions, or those same things that were attractions become distractions.